I'm trying to get 100 platinum trophies. I have tons of games on my shelf waiting to be platinumed, and since Halloween's right around the corner, I wanted to play something spooky, so in this video we're going to be platinuming Clock Tower is a point-and-click survival horror game that was developed and published by Human Entertainment. It released in Japan back in 1995 for the Super Famicom, which if you don't know is the Japanese version of the SNES, and it soon became a pioneer of the survival horror genre as we know it today. Clock Tower remained a Japanese exclusive for nearly 30 years, but that all changed when the lovely people at the indie game studio Way Forward decided to remaster it for current-gen consoles as Clock Tower Rewind back in 2024, which finally brought the game to the Western audience and is the version we'll be using for the Platinum. We play as an orphan named Jennifer, who gets adopted along with her three friends, Laura, Anne, and Lottie, by a wealthy recluse named Simon Barrows, and the story begins with our teacher bringing us to his mansion. The mansion is referred to as the Clock Tower, likely due to the big-ass clock tower it has, and it holds 27 trophies within its walls, so let's not waste any more time and jump into it. We enter into the mansion through the main hall, where our teacher Miss Mary leaves us to go find the owner. Could you walk any slower? Like, come on. Alright. This mansion is absolutely massive, and it seems like the perfect place for all of us to start our new lives, if we can make it through the night that is, because we'll soon find out there's some sinister shit going on here. Miss Mary has taken way longer than expected to find the owner, Mr. Barrows, and this is starting to put all of us on edge, so Jennifer takes it upon herself to go find her, but not even 2 steps into the hallway we're startled by a scream coming from the main hall. We run back to locate the source of the disturbance, only to find that the lights have been turned off and all of our friends have gone missing. With Miss Mary still MIA and all of our friends gone, the panic starts to set in, and now it's up to us, and us alone, to figure out what the hell is going on inside this mansion. We decide to start our search upstairs, and right away we get our first trophy, Watch Your Step, when we narrowly avoid falling down a collapsing walkway. Oh. Hey, first trophy! A step further would be a steep drop, alright. I mean, I'll take the trophy, but for how nice of a mansion this is, I'd honestly expect some better infrastructure, like goddamn. Well, since upstairs is no longer an option, we head back through the hallway we just came from, and this is where we got our next 2 trophies, Sheer Terror and First Fear, which are basically the same exact trophy, just worded differently, and we get them when we come face to face with the main antagonist of the game. Sheer Terror. And First Fear. Okay. What the hell is that? Uh-oh. Scissorman. Also, I didn't notice this in the moment, but Anne is getting absolutely bodied by the Scissorman here. The Scissorman relentlessly stalks after us at a walking pace, so we're able to easily outrun him. However, the only way to get rid of him is by finding a place to hide, which works a lot better when there isn't a snitch-ass parrot in the room who gives away our hiding spot. Oh! No, 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 no! Oh. Wait, I'm still alive. Okay, good. Well, that didn't work, so we keep running, but we end up backing ourselves into a corner, so we do the one thing we can think of as a last-ditch effort to try and escape him. Maybe I can break his ankles real quick. Oh, which way am I gonna go? Our attempts to juke him out are futile, so we end up getting our hedges trimmed, which gives us our first dead end of the run. For some reason, we didn't get the You Are Dead trophy for getting our first dead end. However, we'll get that soon enough, as this won't be the last time we get game ended. And I want to know down in the comments how many dead ends you think we're going to get before we complete our first run, and I'll give you a hint, it's a lot more than it should have been. So many, in fact, that I'm putting a dead end counter in the corner here to keep track. We start up a new run and didn't have to wait long to get that You Are Dead trophy, but I am a little tilted because it wasn't even from the Scissorman. No other comment, just what's this? Oh! What the hell? That's what killed me, was the mirror? You are dead. Alright. So note to self, don't look at the mirror. What killed me though, other than the lack of oxygen, was the gentle push the hand gave us after it was done sucking the life force from our body. Alright, dead end number 2 on the board. We continue from there, ignoring the mirror this time, only to get dropped in on by the Scissorman, and while running for our life, we got our next trophy, What a Mansion, by entering into the West Building. We get confronted by him again, however this time we're actually able to fight him off by spamming X. Yeah, get shit on! See you later. Oh, come on! Tripped over his corpse. Tripped again. Tie your damn shoes. This is only a temporary solution though, as he gets right back up afterwards and continues to hunt us down. Eventually we find a place to hide right as the Scissorman comes stumbling in after us, and as he does, he kicks over a canister that fills the room with a mysterious gas. This causes him to flee, which allows us to go back to exploring the mansion in peace. For now. We wind up in the kitchen where we find a freezer that is absolutely infested with roaches that jump out and attack us, because I mean, why not? So not only am I fighting a scissorman, but I'm also fighting roaches, an evil bird, a mirror that chokes you out. What is this mansion, bro? We head back into the kitchen and grab a slice of ham from the fridge before attempting to open the freezer again, thinking that if the light's on, the roaches won't attack us this time, but that theory got debunked real quick as we got swarmed again, raising Jennifer's stress meter to unsafe levels. Evil man chasing us with a giant pair of scissors? Only a minor inconvenience. A couple of roaches? Panic. Immediate panic. Code red.
Call the fucking cops!
This leads us to our next trophy, Tick-Tock, because the higher our stress levels are, the more likely we are to trip when running from the scissorman. So to combat this, we pop a squat on the floor, which lowers our stress level, and gives us time to contemplate what the hell we've gotten ourselves into.
Who am I? What am I?
Hey, Tick-Tock. After that, we check out the only other room that's in this hallway, which ends up being the garage. No. Okay, I don't like this. I feel like he's just gonna jump out of one of these bays of hail.
Huh?
Bays of hail, I said. Bales of hay, excuse me. Inside, we find a car along with a car key, which gives us the perfect opportunity to escape this hellhole. But no, Jennifer's too good for that and doesn't want to leave her friends. But what about forget the other girls, bro. You've seen what's happened. Laura's gone. I can only assume that's the same for everyone else. Well, since Jennifer doesn't want to use the most viable option to escape, we continue our exploration of the mansion, only to get guillotined by the scissorman again. I got ham and a car key. I could have left. I had the perfect chance to just leave. Whatever, add it to the counter. After that bullshit, we decided to start a brand new playthrough where we utilize what we learned in that last run and are actually able to make some pretty good progress right off the rip. Right away, we get our next trophy, Madness in the Moonlight, after using this sharp-edged stone to break open a crack in the wall, giving us access to the courtyard outside. Madness in the Moonlight, ooh! I'm outside. We make our way past the pool where we find Anne going for a little midnight dip. Swim, bitch, come on. Save her. Save her. Why are you just looking at her, bro? Do something. You just watched that happen. You know, that death is... Oh! That death is on your hands, bro. You just watched that happen. And if you're wondering why Anne was in the pool when earlier we saw her getting suplexed by the scissorman, that's because this is a new playthrough and different events can play out and change the ending we get based on the choices we make. I can't really go more into that right now because we're currently being hunted by the scissorman, but we're able to evade him after finding a place to hide inside this shed. Further inside the shed, we get our next trophy, Out to Lunch, when we find a man locked inside a cage asking for something to eat.
Can I have something to eat?
No.
We know exactly what to get for him and book it to the kitchen to grab that ham we found in the last run. What up, dude? You want some ham? After giving the man his first meal in who knows how long, he reveals that he's Mr. Barrows, the man who allegedly adopted us and our friends, but something really isn't adding up here because if he's locked up in there, then there's no way he could have done all the legal gymnastics you have to do to adopt 4 children. He seems to be going insane and starts rambling on, saying something about a cradle under a star, which will come up again later, but right now we have no idea what he means by it. We leave him for now and head back into the mansion where we find ourselves back in that room where we hid from the scissorman earlier. And you remember that mysterious gas that filled up the room after he barged in? Well, it turns out that's pesticide and we can use that to get our next trophy, Creepers. We take it back to the kitchen and spray it on the roaches in the freezer, killing them and allowing us to grab a gold key tucked away inside. Immediately following that, we got the trophy Everything Will Be Okay when we use that gold key on the next room over and find our teacher Miss Mary alive and well inside. She offers us a drink to help calm our nerves, and, well, I'm sure you can guess what happens next. I don't want to do that. No. Oh, bro, why are you just drinking that? Oh, my lord. Oh, come on. So, you can probably tell by now that Miss Mary is not the loving, caring teacher that we initially thought, and I have a feeling she has something to do with Mr. Barrows being locked up in here. Thankfully, we don't have to share the same fate as him as Lottie comes to the rescue with the best run animation I've ever seen, and to be completely honest, I totally forgot she even existed up until this point. She frees us from our prison and we make our escape together like Thelma and Louise. Alright Lottie, let's get the hell out of here. I got the car key, let's get the hell out of here. We'll just run away together. Only for her to get blasted the moment she steps out of the shed. We're gonna be next if we don't find a place to hide, so we hop into our trusty box and try to wait it out. No, I'm good. I'm good. Get in the box. I'm not going out there, fuck that. You better keep your mouth quiet, bro. Unfortunately though, Miss Mary is a little bit smarter than the scissorman, so she finds us and gives us our first dead end we've had in a while. Oh no, oh. No way, bro, no way. That's wild. I was doing so good. We hit continue and completely avoid going into that room with Miss Mary because we're not going through that again, and head into the west building instead, where we find the taxidermy room and get our next trophy, Itchy Tasty. We open up a cabinet in the corner of the room and get jumped by the zombie waiting inside, but we're actually able to fight back using a dagger we also found in this room, which gets us the trophy along with the cage key. After that, we make our way down the hall to a child's bedroom where we get our next trophy, Dolly Dearest, the moment we step inside. This trophy definitely popped prematurely, as we should have gotten it after grabbing the ritual key off a shelf, which triggers a fight against a possessed doll. But the game had faith in us and gave it to us anyway, even though the doll ended up beating the piss out of us. I died to a doll. After getting done in by a child's toy, we decide to leave that room alone for now and hit up the bathroom instead, where we get our next trophy, They're Here. While making our way through the mansion, our hands have gotten absolutely disgusting. I mean, we've got pesticide and zombie guts all over them. However, when we go to wash our hands at the sink, it's not water that comes out of the tap. And now it's time for everyone's favorite game show, What's in That Tap? With your host, Alex Trebek. Is it A, blood, B, maggots, C, scissormen, or D, more of those goddamn roaches? Be sure to lock in your answers down below. Alrighty, if you guessed B, maggots, you'd be correct. Congratulations, give yourself a round of applause. Woo! After that, we continue checking out all these new rooms in the West Wing until we come across the music room where we get our next trophy, Deadly Duet, when we attempt to play the piano. And don't think I don't see your ugly mug peeking out there, Scissorman. We get chased around by the Scissorman for a short while before evading him by jumping over this small gap in the floor. Oh, she made it. What a jump. Can he jump? He can jump. Damn! I don't even know what to say about that. I guess these old floors couldn't handle the sheer girth of that man. Well, since the Scissorman's gargantuan ass broke the floor, we're now stuck over here until we can find another way across, which leads us to our next trophy, Quick Escape. In one of the rooms we find some rope, and I know exactly how we can use it for a quick escape. No, I can just hang myself. End this frickin' nightmare. No, not that. What we actually had in mind was using it to rappel down to the floor below. Eventually we find our way back to the child's room again and are able to grab the ritual key and actually fight off the doll this time. Hey, got his ass. From there, we head back into the guest bathroom where we get our next trophy, Cat Scare, and I think the trophy name alone explains well enough how we got it. Oh, please. Oh, it was just a cat. And honestly, I'd be scared too if I saw a cat with red glowing eyes like that. After that, we use the ritual key that we clawed out of the hands of that Bozo the Clown looking ass doll to gain access to this room known as the chapel. There's definitely some serious demonic shit going down here, as the first thing we see is a shrine against the wall with a dead crow on the mantle, as well as a book that mentions the cradle under the star, which is the same thing that Mr. Barrows was rambling on about earlier. I mean, there's also a freaking pentagram on the floor, so that should have been a dead giveaway. There's actually a hidden trapdoor in the center of the pentagram, and the vase next to it has a hole in the bottom used to open it, so our goal now is to find the tool we're missing in order to gain access to what's hidden below. The first thing we do is head back to that room where Miss Mary is waiting for us, and she pours us another glass of extra strength NyQuil, knocking us out again. We get freed from the cage and hear Lottie get boom-shotted outside, but this time we're not going down without a fight and use a 2x4 to whack Miss Mary across the side of the head before running away. Get whacked, bitch. Bro, take the shotgun at least. If you're gonna do that shit, take the shotgun. With Mary out cold, we head back into the room where she was before, where we find a couple different things. First is Laura in her Knight Artorias cosplay, then we find a black robe in the closet, and we find a silver key on the table. Bitch, do you not remember? Don't drink it. I swear to God, if you drink it again and pass out. Oh, I thought she said, like she took a sip again. I was like, you dumb hoe. With us now witnessing the death of Anne, Lottie, and Laura, we beeline it for the car in the garage with the hope that Jennifer will actually use it this time since there's no one left to save but ourselves. I'm getting out of here, bro. Screw all you guys, I'm going home. I know I'm an orphan and I don't have a home, but anything's better than this. Oh, the car's gone? What the hell? Well, that's no longer an option, so I guess we're stuck here. After leaving the garage, we use that silver key we just found to unlock the study, and inside it has this strange mural on the wall which shares a striking resemblance to the chapel we came across earlier. We don't find anything useful in here, so we make our way back to the music room, which is where we get our next trophy, Key to the Cradle, when we find a staff tucked away behind the curtains. And based on all the context clues we've been given, I'm pretty sure this is the key we need to open up that trap door in the chapel, so we head over there and try using it on the vase, but nothing happens, so now I'm thinking we need to find something else to open it. I mean, I guess we are technically right and wrong with that theory because there was an item we hadn't found yet, which is the perfume, but that has nothing to do with actually opening the trapdoor. We already have the tool we need, which is that staff. However, Jennifer doesn't know that yet, and this is where I want to talk about my only gripe with the game. Even if you as the player have already figured out what needs to be done, the game won't let you do it until Jennifer figures it out, so I spent the better part of an hour running all throughout the house, checking every room and fighting off the scissorman, trying to find an item we may have missed, when in reality all we have to do is push over a bookcase in the study to reveal the rest of the mural, and then it finally clicks in Jennifer's head and she's like, oh shit, why did you say so? But whatever, we can now finally open the trapdoor, which reveals a ladder leading down to a dimly lit cave, where we immediately run into a new problem, this fucking dog. In order to get our next trophy, Master of Stealth, we need to find a way past this dog without taking a chomp, and it took us more attempts than I'd like to admit before we figured out we need to equip the robe and the perfume to make it through. Thank you, I figured it out, oh my gosh. After sneaking past the dog, we ditch the robe and head deeper into the cave where we see some shit we probably weren't supposed to see. What the hell is that, bro? After disturbing this Discord moderator's slumber, it starts to crawl after us, and seeing that we're a 14-year-old girl, we're a prime target for it, so we get the hell out of there before it tries to make us its waifu or some shit. A chase scene ensues, and as we're climbing our way out of the cavern, we accidentally kick a can of kerosene, which sets the monstrosity ablaze. This gets us the trophy from cradle to grave, and leaves the neckbeard looking like a burnt up raisin. At this point, the cave is about to collapse, so we need to find a way out of here. Conveniently enough though, there's actually an elevator waiting for us right at the end of the hall. After emerging from the elevator, we're confronted by Miss Mary again, except this time she's concealing a knife that she tries to stab us with, but we're able to fight her off and get away. We book it the only way we can, which is outside and up a ladder to the clock tower, all while being followed by Mary and Bobby the Scissorman. And no, that's not a nickname I gave him, his name is actually Bobby. Mary catches up to us on the ladder, but I really don't know what she was expecting to happen on a wet ladder in the rain. See you later. This leaves only Bobby to deal with now, but all we have to do for him is start with the gears of the clock tower, and he kind of just takes care of himself.
Bye-bye.
Really, that's all it took? With both of them taken care of, we're now the only survivor left in the house, and for surviving the night, we get the trophies Close Cuts and an Unnatural Phenomena, and can now finally put this nightmare behind us. Alrighty, we finished off our first run with 27 dead ends. How close were your guesses? Because that's a lot more than I thought we were going to get. After all we went through, we close off the game with ending C. And yes, there's more than one ending, and before we can get the platinum, we're going to need to complete all of them, including a secret ending that isn't even listed, in order to get the aptly named trophy, All Endings. Plus, we still have a few miscellaneous trophies we need to get along the way as well. There's no time to dilly-dally, so let's hop back in and start with the two shortest endings first. I'll skip over the intro and start right away with us entering into the room with the parrot, where we get the trophy Silence. As you've previously seen, this parrot is a little bitch who will give away our position to the scissorman, so the first thing we do is let him out of the cage and trap him under a blanket to keep him quiet. Got his ass. We then head into the bathroom next door where we find Laura strung up in the shower, along with the scissorman taking a bath in the tub below. For this ending, we need both Laura and Anne deceased before we can complete it, but we're not going to go to the pool and find Anne like we did last time. Instead, we're going for the trophy A Sight Better Unseen, where we head down the west hallway and just hope we hear a scream coming from outside. Let's see. Oh, there goes Anne. Hey, A Sight Better Unseen. Oh yeah, it's all part of the plan. Alright, now that both Anne and Laura are taken care of, we book it to the garage so we can use the car to escape, which will get us our next trophy, Don't Cry Jennifer, for leaving our friends. And honestly, I should have gotten this trophy earlier, because I was trying to leave these bitches back in our first run. Jennifer is still hesitant to leave, but we just have to keep clicking on the car, and finally on the third attempt she decides to blast through the garage doors and drive off. See, that's what we should have done in the first place. Jennifer may have survived the night, but that doesn't mean she's in the clear because 3 days later, she's found dead in her room back at the orphanage. And the game doesn't specify if it was from foul play or if it was due to her own guilt from leaving her friends, but if I had to guess, Mary probably went back to the orphanage to finish the job. Alright, so ending H is basically the exact same as ending G, except we need to make sure we only see Laura die, but not Anne, and it really doesn't matter what happened to Zalati, we don't care about her. We find Laura in the shower like before, and after escaping the scissorman, we go straight for the car and convince Jennifer to leave again, except this time she finds an unwanted passenger in the backseat. So for endings D, E, and F, we're actually able to get them all in a single run by hitting continue after each completion, which saves us from having to run through from the beginning each time. The goal for these endings is to make it to the end without discovering that Mary's behind this whole thing, cause you know, ignorance is bliss, I guess. And to keep this brief, I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but just know we went through the mansion and collected all the items required to make it into the caverns down below. Once we're down here, we sneak past the guard dog and make sure not to go all the way to the right. We'll need to run over there to get the next ending after this, but for now, we just head deeper into the cave to deal with Dan the man again before making our way to the elevator, except this time we don't even get a chance to ride it. We hit continue and start back up right after Dan got cooked, and make our way back to the main cave where we run over to the right this time and find Lottie lying on the ground.
Just hanging around.
And she uses her last breath to tell us how to defeat the Scissorman with the clock tower. We then make our way back to the elevator and click the 3rd floor, but unfortunately we never make it to our destination. We hit continue again after that, and it drops us off right in the elevator, so we hit the 2nd floor this time and come face to face with Mary again. However, since we never learned of her intentions, she's able to get the jump on us. So ending B is the exact same process as our first run where we got ending C, except after reaching the elevator we click the 3rd floor instead of the 2nd, which takes us directly to the top of the clock tower. We start up the gears again and watch the Scissorman walk off the edge. However, I feel like we're forgetting something here. Ending A is also the same process as endings B and C, except with 2 extra steps. First is making sure by the end at least one of our friends is still alive, not including Lottie, cause fuck her. And second is using the cage key we got from the zombie to free these crows locked up in a cage. After doing that, we make it to the end like normal, and after watching the Scissorman fall to his demise, we're reunited with our one surviving friend. At least for a second anyways. Damn, chucked that hoe. Mary pulls a knife on us and backs us into a corner, however she didn't count on us making a couple avian friends along the way. Well, I thought we were going to finally end a run with one of our friends by our side, but I guess that'll have to wait for the next ending. Alright, time for the final secret ending, which is basically the same as ending A, where we have to make sure at least one of our friends survives and we free the crows from the cage, but we have one more extra step we need to go through, which gets us the trophy A Great Father. Tucked away in the west wing, there's a secret room hidden behind a false wall, and after breaking into it, we find a bunch of medical papers scattered on the ground, along with a skeleton propped up in the corner. We investigate the medical charts in a bag on the floor and discover that this skeleton is our dad. Or, well, it used to be. We read the note in his hand and find out that 9 years ago, Mary was pregnant with twins, which are Bobby the Scissorman and Dan the Moderator, and our father was called to the house to deliver them for her. He writes about how these children are the spawn of Satan and how one of them even bit off his entire hand as it exited the womb. After delivering the children, he was locked away in the room by Mary and was left to perish, leaving little 5-year-old Jennifer fatherless, which resulted in her ending up at Mary's orphanage. Damn, I guess it all comes full circle. After that, we complete the rest of the run like before and make it up to the clock tower, where we find Anne lying on the floor. But before we can reach her, we're attacked by Mary and have to be rescued by the birds again. After Mary takes a dive, we run back over to Anne and find out she's actually still alive, which makes this the only ending where we aren't the sole survivor. And with that should be the final ending. Hey, all endings. Which means... yeah, platinum baby! Hell yeah. And with what I'd consider to be the best ending in the game, even if it isn't considered canon, we're able to secure our 75th platinum. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe as it definitely helps me out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.